our special guest this week. I'm so stoked. We got Zaxx, another Canadian. You don't know how much I've had to suffer these two guys, a lot of it behind the scenes. So finally, I got reinforcements. But Zaxx, welcome to the rewatch. Two obligatory questions. The first one is, what are you drinking if you're drinking?
Mhm.
And the second one is connection to Wheel of Time. Let us know.
I am drinking a stout. It's called a stir stick stout, and it's got a coffee and chocolate flavor to it. It's very dark. It's by Pints here. It's a local company, craft brewing, because I'm that cool. Yeah,
Very nice.
and
Very nice.
I
and it
enjoy
has
a good
coffee.
stout.
Yes, and it's great, and it has coffee in the title, and it's sort of just past noon here, so it seems like an appropriate choice.
Mm.
Okay, it sounds like in about 40 minutes for me, I'm going to be joining you guys, but yeah, standards have to be maintained. Now, super glad that you're on. But yeah, connection to Wheel of Time, Zax. When did you first get into the series, and tell us what it means to you?
Yeah, thanks for having me here today. For me, it was in high school when it was first. When I read the first two books, on only the first two books, so you can burn me alive now. Um, in high school when it was coming out, so I read them live, um, because the first two books came out when I was in high school, and I was into reading fantasy, and I read them and I enjoyed them. And what happened with me, why I got pulled away was well, Star Wars EU books. I read those instead and didn't get back to Wheel of Time because I think a lot of it was the first two books I've read since were a bit slow, and so I didn't get drawn in like everyone else does. So now it's up to me to go through the books again as an adult and see what I've missed. But what the show has meant is I have real life friends who are also nerds, and the show comes on, and we were excited for the show because I knew the first season roughly what it was going to be, and they were excited as well. And I watched it, and I could not believe how bad this show was, and I was not the expert on this lore like they were. And in the intro, the first 38 seconds just almost killed the entire series for me. It took me 3 tries to get to the opening credits. It was so bad, and how wrong they were about how they were describing everything. And then my friends in real life were like, "No, it's not so bad. I can see what they're gonna do here, and it's about girl power, and girl power is a good thing, right? And so it's okay if they twist that, and maybe they're unreliable narrators, so we can't trust them. But we'll find out later in every episode. It got worse, and I'm looking around, and everyone else seems to think it's okay. And then I found Salty Texas Sea and Prophet Dragon and you guys. And I'm like, okay, it's not just me. This is bad. And I made my first YouTube video as a result of that, making fun of episode 3, the big chase where Rand leaves his father's sword with
Yep.
some bar wench and then runs for his life with Matt away from her. And just the worst chase scene you can imagine with a small woman chasing these two dudes through the streets, and that's where aging them up didn't help. And with nowhere to go, and I said it to Benny Hill, which was obvious and easy, and it did pretty well. And I kept making a few videos like that to try to draw in. I wanted to criticize the show without being super obvious about it because at the time it was a difficult thing to do without being completely banned and possibly thrown in jail in Canada. I'm joking, but like it's kind of how it was, and how I met you
You're not
guys
really
was
joking.
yeah, not really joking. How I met you guys was uh, Reddit. I posted some videos in your channel. You guys liked them, and then everyone else banned me as a result of me posting in your channel. It, and I had no idea that would happen. I didn't know that, like, oh, these guys are quote unquote bad guys. So if you post there, you can't come here. And
Oh yeah.
I as a result, I got chased off most, even things that had nothing to do with the Wheel of Time, like the Witcher boards. Reddit subreddits. I got banned from that, or shadow banned. I couldn't post there anymore because of a post I made in your subreddit.
That's actually
Unbelievable.
So
interesting. I had not heard that the Autobot sort of shadow bans and hard bans and all that other stuff. I hadn't heard that that had extended to non Wheel of Time communities. That sort of a new detail in the saga of the White Cloak subreddit.
yeah, and that was because there was a mod who also modded there, and I got a
Nice.
message because I was asking like, how come I can't see my videos I'm posting here about The Witcher? And I got a response saying, "Well, maybe you shouldn't post anti-matriarchal comments because those sentiments are not welcome here." Because I posted in White Cloaks about how maybe killing all the men you see isn't the best advertising campaign and marketing for a matriarchy, right? Which is a joke, but
Oh
also
man.
also fucking true, right? And
Yeah.
and so out of the blue, I got that snarky response. Well, maybe you shouldn't say things like that on online. It's all connected, and so I'm shadow banned from The Witcher.
Hmm.
Yeah,
There are worse things that could happen to you, though.
absolutely. And so yeah, I made some friends, started making more videos, and now it's become like a part-time hobby for me, and I love it. So fuck them.
Well, fantastic. So,
Exactly the right attitude, man.
before we get going with the rewatch, I don't know how much you've seen, but we are kind of full spoilers.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot of this has kind of been well, it's full book spoilers. It's not just the series because we got into this with everybody already having reviewed the show. Uh, all the episodes have been out, and it's really just kind of like an EFAP style deep dive into the nitty gritty and where things could get messed up later on. But also a really great thing that we've noticed about Wheel of Time is that you read and reread the books, and you get more enjoyment out of a reread. So how does the show stack up on that element of the story that you watch it a second time or a third time, and does it get better or worse? I think we're all about 99% in the this sucks so much worse the second time camp. Um, but just as a point of clarification, have you finished reading all the books, or should we try and at least preserve some spoilers for you as we go through this today?
I've gone through the first two books again, so you guys are fine for this, for where we are now for the show. But anyways, it wouldn't
Okay.
matter to me. I've heard so many spoilers going forward, and I'm
Okay.
old enough that I'd probably forget half of them. It's fine.
Eh.
Um,
Well, I will say,
but
so I knew that you had made videos about the wheel of time, and I've obviously seen a fair amount of what you do on your channel. I actually didn't know that you had this much kind of passion about what they did to the wheel of time without having even sort of read through the entire series, and yet you were still able to not only recognize the damage being done to the story, but also to have a pretty strong response to the point where you felt like you needed to say something about it. Um, I think that's pretty interesting. It speaks a lot to the kind of power of this story, and sort of the fundamental kind of truths that it has contained within it.
yeah, and I think so for me, a lot of that was because I was excited to watch this show and watch it with my son because he's 18 now, but he wasn't at the time. And we always have a show that we watch. We watch one show every day, and I usually pick it. It's kind of dad forces kid to get some culture on TV, and
Boy,
and
howdy,
so
did that backfire?
I was looking forward
He
to this
lost so
one.
much respect for you.
Well, this was did not help at all. So I um I was excited for this because I remember what the books felt like, and I thought, well, he's younger, maybe he'll read the books. Maybe we'll read them together now. And that intro, um, the pre-credits part of the first episode, and Leandrin's, gentling that the guy was. I stopped it and said, you know what, we don't have to watch this, and I watched it. I didn't know if I was going to go through it on my own, but I did anyways because I want to see how bad is this going to be, and does it turn around at some point where I want to share this with him. But young men get enough of this. You're horrible. You're awful. You're the worst from everywhere they go in the world. They don't need to have it from their fantasy. And so I just said, you know what, we'll watch something else. And so that pissed me off that I couldn't sit there with my son and enjoy this experience that I was looking forward to, and that he could like because of their politics. And so that's what pissed me off and fired me up.
Mm.
And and from
Now,
there,
but are you reading the books with your son? So
no,
that's what we've heard. Okay, got some work
no,
to
I'll
do,
read.
Zach.
I do. Yeah, I'm gonna. I will read them and or audiobook them, but it's gonna be
The
a tougher
audiobooks are
sell, I think,
awesome.
for him. Yeah,
The
yeah, I
audiobooks
found that.
really are good. I hope that you and your son get through them if that's the method you choose to use.
Yeah, and we may do that. And I looked at the comics as well because I got to interview Chuck Dixon a while back, or be a part of an interview with him, and I got to ask him about what it was like working with Robert Jordan and his graphic novels. But they're super expensive to buy now,
They are.
and It's like very, and they're rare to find as well. But what he had said was what stuck with me was that he hated. Well, he didn't hate it. It wasn't his. It was one of his least favorite projects because Robert Jordan was so involved in it. He wouldn't let him do anything on his own. Everything was check with me. Here's what I want you to say and how you're going to say it. And so to me, that sounds like a very pure adaptation. And
Yeah, and there's material in the back appendix of the new Spring graphic novel, a
okay,
series of emails that we went through this on a live stream a little
hmm
while back, but he was very, very particular, and
oh
no one can claim that he would have been fine with like even the costuming in the first shot, right? The Icy
right,
Yeah.
Eye ring would have flipped him off, but
right,
no, it's
That's awesome though. So you said you got an opportunity to interview him or be on a panel that did an interview.
yeah.
Is that up on your channel by any chance? Can we link that in the description, or is there a way people can access that, or was it not recorded?
Oh no, it was recorded. It was on Pop Culture Minefield, but I'll track it down for you guys.
all right.
Yeah,
Shall we get going with the rewatch?
let's do it.